What's up, everybody? Just over here laughing about the guy who posted on the commented on one of my videos. I can't remember which one now. That said that my the intro to that video was the worst, one of the worst three he'd ever heard or seen on YouTube before. And he said he watches a lot of videos to clarify. So yeah. Wow. I mean, I've seen some pretty bad ones. I definitely wouldn't say mine are among the worst. I mean, give me a break. I think mine are the best, of course. But that's just me. I have a biased opinion on that one. But yeah, having some fun with this AI stuff. You saw the thumbnail for this one. I thought it would be funny to do one and had an idea, and it worked out pretty well. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, but really having some fun with it and using the heck out of it for stuff because as you know, everybody tries to get their hands in on the money, and so with YouTube, with the music, you really have to be careful, and you have to get all the permissions and everything else, and that's just not feasible for a small channel. It's just not only the money but just having the time to do it. So yeah, it makes it tough. So doing them yourself really makes it a lot better. So thank you, Voice of Astrology. Says your intros are the best. That's awesome. Thank you. I do have fun doing them. I've tried some different things out with you guys, and I think I'll just continue to experiment with them. But I've done some of the voice ones. I have a funny idea for one I might do with an AI, me and an AI voice back and forth. But I haven't fooled with that yet, so I don't want to speak too soon. But of course, today I got the Destiny shirt on from our Murder Metal Mayhem new app or a merchandise store on the T Public site. Very, very cool. We got all kinds of designs on there. That's got a sale all weekend. Once again, 35% off everything. So whether you want a sticker or a shirt or a tapestry or a pillow, whatever, they've got them. They've got them. And all right, let's see here. See people saying, "Hi, there's my mom. My mom is here." Saw people saying hi to my mom, but I didn't see my mom there. So before we get into this too deep, let's say a few shout outs here to those of you here early and right on time. Misleading evidence. Thank you very much. She also liked the thumbnail, so that's cool. And of course, Donna Lembo, our captain of the Mayhem Squad and our moderator in chief, and Karis from Voice of Astrology, and let's see, Jody Lee, and a lot of back and forth, and my mom, as I mentioned, and R.S. Layton. So hello, everybody. And we'd like to do these. I enjoy doing them this way, to be completely honest with you. Just an open live on true crime. If we get into something else and I don't mind talking about it, I'm fine with it. But no politics, no religion, none of that stuff. Not interested in talking about that here. But anything else pretty much goes, I think. So with that, I saw that Karis had posted early on about a new book that had come out. My sister has told me about this book about the Black Dahlia murder, and supposed to have potentially the information to help solve the case, which is pretty amazing, as old as that one is. So the Black Dahlia murder is a fascinating one. It's been a while since I've researched that case, but I know we talked about this not that long ago. I know, Karis, you had posted when it had happened, which I think was in the late 40s or 50s, right? I'm just pulling it up here right now. Not everybody is a true crime aficionado, so So yeah, 1947. 1947. I was close, but yeah, she was an actress who was born like in the Midwest, where it says here Boston, and she wanted to go to be an actress and went to Los Angeles. You know, the whole what we hear about people trying to get to become a star. And she'd been in some movies, but yeah, she ends up in two pieces on the side of the road. Um, near it was like a residential area, if I remember right, and yeah, really, really terrible. And her face was cut like in a rictus grin, which is where they cut it this way, which really gives it even that more strange look to it. But yeah, it's been unsolved for a long, long time. 1947. Yeah. So mom giving away her age there says that's the year I was born. Well, that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's for sure. Amazing health for somebody been here for that long since the Black Dahlia murder. But yeah, that's an interesting case. There's a few unsolved ones that it really stand the test of time. So if that book does break that one loose, that would be really cool to see that one get solved. There's that one. There's the Zodiac, which I always was fascinated with the Zodiac killer because the California one, not the New York one. Um, but the California case, is unsolved, and there's been all kinds of people try to get in on solving that case. As a matter of fact, I read a book about a guy who claimed it was his father. What was it called? It's within one of the quotes of him. But yeah, it's the root. Something about man being the most evil of all, or something like that. Most evil of all. Maybe that's the name of the book. It's something similar to that. But but yeah, he claimed it was his dad, that his dad abandoned him, and he had all these details. And really, I mean, he hired a PI, and they went all over the place trying to figure it out, and then wound up ending up in like Mexico. Said he was buried in a cemetery in Mexico, and then because he used to go down there a lot for his illegal activities, buying things and then coming up into the U.S. without paying tax and then selling them here was what he did, I think. And so, but yeah, it's an interesting case, and it's one of those ones that we just never really knew what happened. No real idea of, nobody's ever come forward. And you wonder, is that how the Idaho 4 will be? I mean, I know to some it's over. It's the guy pled guilty. It's over. He's in prison for life times 100. He's not going anywhere. But then there's some of us that say, I don't know about that. Something doesn't sound right there, and then they will always question it. So I think that's one of those ones, that there's always going to be some questions about it. But let's see here. R.S. Layton says, my father died in 2017. He grew up in Santa Barbara. He always talked about this case. He claimed to see her the night she was murdered. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, she was a very social person, if I remember correctly. So, and as somebody trying to be an actress, you got to get out there in front of people and meet people and get a break, just like anybody else. So, um, here's Dorothy comes in. Just got here, but loved your Red Mist story. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a new one. I just put up this morning. It was supposed to be at midnight, or I'm sorry, I put it up at 1 o'clock today this afternoon. Um, it was supposed to be midnight, but I was getting curious what people were going to think about it because it's the first vampire story I've ever written. I'm not into the vampire lore, so to speak. I loved Salem's Lot from Stephen King, but never been like huge into it. Not against it, just not really that big into it. And so I've always kind of stayed away from it, but then did some research and watched a couple documentaries and got interested in it, and then thought I would give it a try. And that Ursuline convent down there in New Orleans has got a very fascinating history, which lent itself perfectly for the backdrop of that story with the huge building and all the lore of New Orleans and the witchcraft and the supernatural, and it's neat. So it just lends itself to that kind of thing, and made it that much better because it was there. And so I kind of combined the two, and so yeah, if you're interested, it's up there on the channel. Like I said, just went live about 1 o'clock, but I'm glad that you liked it, Dorothy. I do. I'm glad that you let me know too, because feedback is always feedback is always helpful when you're writing and stuff. But that one came out in the collection I named Creation of Chaos 4. Um, Creation of Chaos 4 came out right before I got sick, like maybe 6 months. So I really didn't get a chance to promote it like I would have normally done it and hit the circuit of places in the area where I do appearances and stuff. So that all got interrupted with the necrotizing fasciitis. So I didn't get to do any of that promotion or anything. So it's too bad because I thought it was the strongest of the four. But any author is going to say the last thing they wrote is the best thing they wrote. So, but I did like the stories in that bunch. But all four of those Creation of Chaos books are packed full of some really interesting stories like that, like the Red Mist. But that's the only vampire one. But I've done tons, and I don't do the Jason, Freddy and Jason type horror. Nothing against that. That's just not really my thing. Do more of the suspenseful, strange, bizarre, kind of horror, but they're different. So you just really just have to check it out for yourself. But I'll throw up the thing for my website while I'm thinking about it because I usually forget with the Murder Metal Mayhem podcast and the Murder Metal Mayhem channel. But PeteAltieri.com is my website. Get ready to redo the website, but I'll keep it operational. But the store is secure. You can order whatever you want, and then I sign it and send it to you. And if you order a book from me, you get a poster and a bookmark with it. If you order it from Amazon, you don't get that stuff, and they'll ship it to you. So I don't sign it or anything. I don't get to see it. So, and I don't make very much off the Amazon sales. They take the big part, and I say big part. I'm talking like 90% of it. Not exaggerating. And so it does help me out if you order it from me. But do what you need to do. And I got an audio book for Creation of Chaos 4 up there in the web store as well. You can order that and get to download the zip file, and then you can listen to all of the stories there read all by me on that one. So Creation of Chaos 3 I did as well, but I had a guest come in and do a couple for me, a friend of mine, Brad Tucker, and he came in. He's got a tremendous voice, and he came in and did some with me. It really sounded cool. So really dig that. Definitely like to collaborate with other people that are creative. I definitely dig that kind of thing. All right. Well, what shall we discuss today? Hopefully, oh, Dorothy, very nice. Get the $10 super sticker there. I appreciate that very much. It's very nice of you. Thank you. Uh, Anybody want to throw their hat in the ring? I don't know if you want to start with maybe that video I just did that went live yesterday. That's gotten decent a little bit of buzz about it. Um, where I talk about the wounds on the victims and how they detail now in the documents, and how some of them are a lot different than what we thought. I mean, like Maddie, for example, we all were told, remember, like right at the very beginning, oh, she was the most likely one to be asleep. She would have probably had no defensive wounds, just maybe a slice across the neck, something like that. No, not at all. All kinds of wounds on her. So it definitely, it definitely makes you wonder what is how can anybody not see that? I mean, how can anybody not see that? And that's the problem that that I think a lot of us have, is you get frustrated, because especially when you're used to talking to people that agree with you. So if you're used to talking to people that agree with you, and then you go in with people that don't, it can get kind of squirrely. Um, and sometimes you have to be fast on your feet to not wind up getting yourself in a mess. So, um, yeah, I think it's interesting when we get in discussions, and sometimes people don't necessarily agree on whatever they were talking about. But yeah, the idea that there's not more than one person here is evident in the fact that there's that much damage to each one of those victims. There is no way that one person's going to do that for one person at a time, and the others are either going to lay there asleep or lay there on their phone and just patiently wait to be hacked up. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. So that's never been, that's never been considered to be legit. And that was funny. It was just this morning I got in the comments and I saw somebody accused me of ripping off somebody else's, view of this case with the video I just did. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing, I mean, that's like what I've said from day one. I mean, from day one in December of 2023, when I started this channel, I was saying right from the get go that those two were involved, and that there was some sort of plan, or somehow they were involved in this thing. And I won't believe any of this other crap about being asleep and all this stuff. And I've been saying that stuff from the beginning. So all these things that have been coming out, to be honest with you, just reiterating what I've been saying. But I'm not the only one that's been saying it. So the fact that some people think that because somebody said it, that they now somehow own it, and then nobody else can even discuss it, and that's just stupid. That's just downright stupid, in my opinion. So, but let's see here. All right. So, Karis wants to talk about these wounds here. So, I don't have a list. If anybody's got one, if they can throw it into the chat. If there's a link, I can follow it. I tried to find a list. I watched the video. I watched Jules of all trades go through the whole thing, but there was so much there. I wasn't going to put it in mine, only because of the time limit of the 666 seconds. So there's no way I could have done it. I would have had to do like a long form video, which isn't bad. It's just I didn't have the time. But yeah, that would be, if somebody's got a link to the actual list of them, because I was not able to find it. I went into the docs and was not able to find it. Somebody here is saying my audio is spotty, but I'm not sure. I've got everything hooked up. There's no storm in here. It's dark, but who knows? I can be anything. But yeah, Jules did a good job going through it all. But when you go through, they're very similar. I mean, there are a few things that were different, right? So you get to Maddie, head wounds, front, back, neck area. I mean, definitely was in it. There was a struggle going on there. That was not just a one and you're done. And then Kaylee, on the other hand, a lot more to the outer and inner part of her skull, which is just horrific. So whoever was doing this was just like, if it was like, say, a sledgehammer or something like that, you're talking about hitting it, breaking through bone, and then pulling it back out and making a hell of a racket, a hell of a lot of damage in there, in and out. It's just absolutely awful. That's just one thought I had of how you would get that kind of damage to both sides, a hammer or an axe, the backside of an axe maybe. There's a lot of options there. There's a lot of options in close quarters. It would have to be something short handled. That was the thing about the Villisca axe murders. That's a famous case in Missouri. I believe that's Missouri or Kansas. Missouri, where the person that came in there were kids up in the attic, and they got him with the axe, but the person was like like very, very small. And so they would have been able to swing that axe and not hit the ceiling, whereas a full-grown man would have been unable to use the axe up there. So that was kind of an interesting case. That's one of those haunted locations, if you've ever heard of the Villisca axe murders. That's pretty interesting. All mother, father, 3 kids, and then they had like 2 or 3 kids that slept over that night. How awful is that? And they got them all. It's really bad. I'm not sure the audio is still going out for Donna as well. Interesting. I don't know. I don't have headphones on, so I don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but not having any issues on my end that I could see. Let me check my connections. Is not the best, but no. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So it may be something. It may be something somewhere between us all, guys. I don't know. I see Mark and Betty saying that the audio is bad there too. Another option is if it's that bad and it's not something that you guys. Let me try one more thing. Hang on. No. Yeah, I've checked all my connections there. But if it's that bad, we can always reschedule it maybe for tomorrow at this time if you guys would rather do that. But yeah, my microphone's on. This is the same mic I use every time. It's a direct in, so there's no. Not sure. That's a bummer. I've never had this happen on one of these lives before, but. And it could be StreamYard. StreamYard is internet driven, but all right. Well, why don't we? If we're having this many problems with people not being able to hear me, then why don't we go tomorrow at 4:00 Central? I'll update the thumbnail and put it out later today, and we'll do it that way. Okay. So I appreciate it. Sorry, not sure what's going on, but I'll restart my computer and everything before then to make sure it's not something stupid like that on my side. But hard to say. But all right, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow at 4. All right. See
Yeah, I've heard it all before. It's just the outro and I'm out of here. If you did, you wouldn't be loving this sick, weird groove. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment to help us get out to more. Smash that like and subscribe before you go. You must be some high achiever to watch this whole thing. Copyright 2025 by Horns Productions.